Есть женщины, которым возникает желание прислушиваться к их словам. Они не кричат, не давят, не требуют, чтобы их слышали. Они звучат спокойно, но оставляют глубокий след. После них мужчина вдруг начинает смотреть по-другому, внимательнее, серьезнее, с уважением. Почему эти фразы не просто звуки? Это отражение внутреннего состояния женщины, ее зрелости, ее достоинства. В них нет агрессии, но есть четкая граница. Нет необходимости доказывать, но есть твердое чувство опоры. И именно это вызывает у мужчины не желание спорить, а желание уважать. Психология мужчины устроена иначе. Для него уважаемой становится та женщина, рядом с которой он чувствует, что перед ним не работа, не маскирующаяся личность, а личность со своим мнением, со своим внутренним миром, с границами. И все начинается с фраз, сказанных спокойно, без надрыва, без страха, но от сердца. Такие слова не требуют доказательства, потому что за ними стоит главная сила, которую мы сегодня разберем. 7 фраз, которые меняют все. Они не придуманы для манипуляций, они не про контроль, они про свободу с уважением, начиная с себя. И когда женщина говорит их искренне, без игры, мужчина слышит и уже не может забыть. Первая фраза «Я так не считаю». Когда женщина говорит «Я так не считаю», это может показаться простой фразой, но за ней стоит внутренняя трансформация. Она больше не молчит ради одобрения. Она больше не улыбается, когда обидно. И она больше не жертвует собой ради чужого комфорта. Карл Юнг учил, что личность формируется тогда, когда человек осознает свою уникальность. Выражение собственного мнения – это шаг к этой уникальности. Слова «я так не считаю» – это не вызов, это приглашение мужчине встретиться с ее целостностью. Эта фраза показывает, что женщина в контакте с самой собой. Юнг называл самость центром психики, атомом первобытного «я». И именно в этих словах проявляются женская честность и независимость. Они произносятся не для того, чтобы спорить, а чтобы быть услышанной. Их собеседник сталкивается с тем, что рядом нет его отражения, а есть самостоятельный мир, полный тонкостей и собственного взгляда на себя. Фраза «я так не считаю» разрушает иллюзию слияния, а значит, пробуждает уважение. Юнг утверждал, что отношения возможны только между двумя целыми людьми. Когда женщина соглашается с мужчиной ради его расположения, она отказывается от своей самости. Но когда она заявляет о другом мнении, она отстаивает свое право быть. Эти слова становятся точкой отсчета, знаком «я есть», без агрессии, без упреков, без крика. Мужчина чувствует эту силу, даже если не осознает этого сразу, потому что это энергия, а не аргумент. Юнг говорил, что тень подавляется тогда, когда мы боимся быть собой. И каждый раз, когда женщина проглатывает свое мнение, она отдает часть себя в тень. Но фраза «я так не считаю» возвращает эту силу обратно. Она вытягивает женщину из зоны психологической зависимости и делает ее видимой в глазах мужчины и в буквальном смысле. Это не форма протеста, а форма самоуважения. Женщина говорит это не ради конфликта, и мужчина, сталкиваясь с такой правдой, вынужден остановиться, потому что здесь нет привычного звука. Ты прав, милый. Здесь есть встреча с индивидуальностью, с той, кто знает, кто она, с той, кто готова быть собой, даже если это не понравится. И именно это вызывает уважение. Тихое, глубокое, устойчивое, потому что женщина, сказав «я так не считаю», показала себя уже выбранной. А значит, ее невозможно сломать, но очень хочется понять. Вторая фраза «мне это не подходит». Когда женщина произносит «мне это не подходит», она не конфликтует, она устанавливает границу. Эта фраза звучит спокойно, без претензий, но ее силу мужчина ощущает сразу. Он понимает, что перед ним человек с четким ориентиром. Карл Юнг преподавал, что путь к себе начинается с осознания того, что ты не чужой. Мне это не подходит. Это не отказ от мужчины, это принятие себя. Женщина, которая не боится маркировать свое «нет», становится уважаемой, потому что она коммуницирует. Я не стремлюсь быть удобной, я не стану подстраиваться ценой себя. Юнг подчеркивал, что тень формируется из всего, что мы отвергаем в себе, но тень также питается и тем, что мы принимаем извне, хотя оно нам вредит. Когда женщина соглашается на то, что ее ранит, она кормит свою тень. Фраза «мне это не подходит» — это освобождение от внутреннего предательства, это голос, который говорит «я вижу себя и выбираю себя». Мужчина может проявить сопротивление, может обвинить в чувствительности, капризности, но это лишь отражение его собственной тени, с которой он не хочет встречаться. Юнг писал, что зрелая личность отличается тем, что берет ответственность за свое поведение. Женщина, честно говоря, что ей не подходит, берет эту ответственность. Она не требует, не обвиняет, не манипулирует, она констатирует факт. Это за рамками моего допустимого. Это вызывает уважение, потому что это звучит как зрелость. Мужчина понимает, что рядом с ним не еще одна нуждающаяся в одобрении девочка, а взрослая, осознанная женщина. Она не ищет виноватых, она не бесконечно объясняет, почему ей больно, она просто отказывается от того, что разрушает ее. Фраза «мне это не подходит» — это форма любви к себе. Юнг утверждал, что только через отказ от ложного мы приходим к истинному. Женщина, произносящая эти слова, не закрывает отношения, она их открывает. И если мужчина зрелый, он увидит в этом «нет», не отказ, а приглашение к честности. Он почувствует, что должен заслужить ее доверие, потому что она уже заслужила себя. В этом и есть уважение, когда никто никому ничего не должен, но каждый выбирает с достоинством. И в этой фразе не холодность, а ясность, не дистанция, а границы. Именно такая женщина не требует, а выжидает, потому что она уже это знает. Мужчина понимает, эта женщина не для игр, а для жизни. Именно поэтому он будет бороться не для того, чтобы быть с ней, а для того, чтобы соответствовать ей. Третья фраза «я не позволяю с собой так общаться». Эта фраза как молния в тишине. Она пронзает момент, когда женщина впервые выбирает не терпеть. «Я не позволяю с собой так общаться». Это не ультиматум, это зеркало, в котором мужчина неожиданно видит не только женщину, но и свое поведение. Карл Юнг написал, что человек встречается с собой через другого. И в этот момент мужчина сталкивается с отражением своего неприемлемого тона, холодности или пренебрежения. Эта фраза не требует повышенного голоса, она требует внутреннего согласия по самоважности. Женщина, которая говорит это, уже внутри себя приняла решение «я больше не позволю». Юнг утверждал, что наша тень — это то, что мы позволяем делать с нами молча. Но когда женщина озвучивает свою границу, она перестает быть жертвой, она становится автором своей жизни. Мужчина может замолчать, может отшутиться, может разозлиться, но он почувствует, что-то изменилось. Рядом больше не та, кто поймет и простит, рядом та, кто не даст себя ранить безнаказанно. Эта фраза звучит твердо, но не жестоко, она звучит спокойно, но не безразлично. Она как граница, очерченная невидимой ценностью. Юнг говорил, что человек не может быть зрелым, пока не интегрирует свою тень. Женщина, говорящая «я не позволю с собой так общаться», интегрирует свою силу. Она больше не боится того, что ее не поймут или осудят. Она выбирает себя, даже если это означает одиночество. Но в этом выборе она обретает внимание и уважение. Фраза не требует повтора, если за ней стоит действие. Если мужчина переходит черту, она не оправдывается, она не кричит, она просто уходит. Не из злости, а из любви к себе. И это делает ее в глазах мужчины особенно независимой, потому что он понимает, ее нельзя удержать словами, только поступками. Женщина, способная защитить свое пространство, вызывает не страх, а трепет. Юнг подчеркивал, что зрелая любовь возможна только там, где есть два сильных «я». Эта фраза – признак того, что одно из этих «я» уже состоялось. Мужчина может не сразу это осознавать, но он обязательно запомнит. И, возможно, именно с этого момента он начнет меняться, потому что перед ним неудобная женщина, а женщина, с которой уже нельзя иначе. Фраза четвертая «я справлюсь сама». Когда женщина говорит «я справлюсь сама», она не отталкивает, она раскрывает суть своей силы. Эти слова не произносятся как гордость или отказ от отношений. Они звучат как зрелость, у которой больше нет нужды в спасителе. Карл Юнг учил, что человек, прошедший путь индивидуализации, перестает зависеть от внешнего. Женщина, произносящая эту фразу, уже вышла из роли, в которой нужно получать поддержку. Она не боится одиночества, потому что внутри нее внутренний союз с собой. Юнг называл это соединением сознания с бессознательным, мужским и женским в себе. «Я справлюсь сама». Это не отказ от помощи, это отказ от зависимости. Это сигнал «я рядом», потому что выбираю быть, а не потому, что не могу иначе. Мужчина услышит в этих словах независимость. Он поймет, что его не используют как опору, его уважают как партнера. Фраза «я справлюсь сама» перестраивает динамику отношений. Больше нет давления слияния, есть пространство, в котором можно быть. Юнг говорил, что зрелость приходит тогда, когда человек больше не требует от других того, чего нет у него самого. Женщина, справляющаяся сама, закрыла внутренние дыры. Она не ищет в мужчине родителя, она не ищет в нем самоутверждения. Она уже целая, и мужчина чувствует, рядом не та, кого нужно тянуть, а та, с кем можно расти. Она не контролирует, не навязывается, не требует пристального внимания. Она занята своей жизнью, но если рядом будет мужчина, способный к партнерству, она раскроется. Фраза «я справлюсь сама» вызывает уважение, потому что за ней свобода выбора. Юнг утверждал, истинная близость возможна только между свободными. Именно поэтому такие индивидуальные женщины кажутся недосягаемыми не из-за холодности, а из-за внутренней силы. Мужчина не чувствует давления, он чувствует желание быть с ней не потому, что ей нужен, а потому, что она вдохновляет. Женщина, говорящая «я справлюсь сама», не играет в сильную. Она просто перестала бояться, она разрешила себе быть устойчивой, независимо от чужих решений. И это вызывает глубочайшее уважение. Не потому, что она все может, а потому, что знает, что справится, даже если не сможет. В этом и есть глубинная женская сила. Тихая, уверенная, спокойная. Та, перед которой мужчина невольно выпрямляется, не чтобы впечатлить, а чтобы соответствовать, потому что рядом с ней иначе нельзя. Фраза 5. «Ты можешь думать, как хочешь». Когда женщина говорит «ты можешь думать, как хочешь», она открывает дверь, за которой живет уважение к себе и к другому. Эта фраза звучит спокойно, даже мягко, но ее эффект глубокий и неожиданный. Она не ставит точку в разговоре, она расставляет границы не для различий, а для свободы. Карл Юнг учил тому, что одна из высших форм зрелости – это способность поддерживать инаковость. Женщина, произносящая эту фразу, демонстрирует свою надежность. Она больше не зависит от чужого мнения. Ее внутреннее состояние настолько стабильно, что она не нуждается в соглашении, чтобы жить свою правду. Мужчина уникальным образом в этих словах впервые может столкнуться с по-настоящему свободной индивидуальностью. Он идентифицирует не с той, кто борется за правоту, а с той, кто больше не играет в игры. Фраза «ты можешь думать, как хочешь» — это отказ от контроля, это зрелое понимание реальности, в котором каждый имеет право на свой взгляд. Юнг написал, что проекция происходит там, где человек не признает границы между «я» и другим. Женщина, говорящая эти слова, возвращает раздел обратно. «Я» — это «я», «ты» — это «ты». Ей не требуется, чтобы мужчина думал, как она не ждет одобрения, не борется за сочувствие. Именно в этом и есть настоящая уверенность, когда ты не боишься быть непонятой. Мужчина вдруг осознает, что перед ним не та, кто нуждается в оправдании, а та, кто свободен от нужды. Карл Юнг написал, что человек встречается с собой через другого. И в этот момент мужчина сталкивается с отражением своего неприемлемого тона, холодности или пренебрежения. Эта фраза не требует повышенного голоса, она требует внутреннего согласия по самоважности. Женщина, которая говорит это, уже внутри себя приняла решение «я больше не позволю». Юнг утверждал, что наша тень – это то, что мы позволяем делать с нами молча. Но когда женщина озвучивает свою границу, Она перестает быть жертвой, она становится автором своей жизни. Мужчина может замолчать, может отшутиться, может разозлиться, но он почувствует, что-то изменилось. Рядом больше не та, кто поймет и простит, рядом та, кто не даст себя ранить безнаказанно. Эта фраза звучит твердо, но не жестоко. Она звучит спокойно, но не безразлично. Она как граница, очерченная невидимой ценностью. Юнг говорил, что человек не может быть зрелым, пока не интегрирует свою тень. Женщина, говорящая «я не позволю с собой так общаться», интегрирует свою силу. Она больше не боится того, что ее не поймут или осудят. Она выбирает себя, даже если это означает одиночество. Но в этом выборе она обретает внимание и уважение. Фраза не требует повтора, если за ней стоит действие. Если мужчина переходит черту, она не оправдывается, она не кричит, она просто уходит. Не из злости, а из любви к себе. И это делает ее в глазах мужчины особенно независимой, потому что он понимает, ее нельзя удержать словами, только поступками. Женщина, способная защитить свое пространство, вызывает не страх, а трепет. Юнг подчеркивал, что зрелая любовь возможна только там, где есть два сильных «я». Эта фраза – признак того, что одно из этих «я» уже состоялось. Мужчина может не сразу это осознавать, но он обязательно запомнит. И, возможно, именно с этого момента он начнет меняться, потому что перед ним неудобная женщина, а женщина, с которой уже нельзя иначе. Фраза 4. «Я справлюсь сама». Когда женщина говорит «я справлюсь сама», она не отталкивает, она раскрывает суть своей силы. Эти слова не произносятся как гордость или отказ от отношений. Они звучат как зрелость, у которой больше нет нужды в спасителе. Карл Юнг учил, что человек, прошедший путь индивидуализации, перестает зависеть от внешнего. Женщина, произносящая эту фразу, уже вышла из роли, в которой нужно получать поддержку. Она не боится одиночества, потому что внутри нее внутренний союз с собой. Юнг называл это соединением сознания с бессознательным, мужским и женским в себе. «Я справлюсь сама». Это не отказ от помощи, это отказ от зависимости. Это сигнал «я рядом», потому что выбираю быть, а не потому, что не могу иначе. Мужчина услышит в этих словах независимость. Он поймет, что его не используют как опору, его уважают как партнера. Фраза «я справлюсь сама» перестраивает динамику отношений. Больше нет давления слияния, есть пространство, в котором можно быть. Юнг говорил, что зрелость приходит тогда, когда человек больше не требует от других того, чего нет у него самого. Женщина, справляющаяся сама, закрыла внутренние дыры. Она не ищет в мужчине родителя, она не ищет в нем самоутверждения. Она уже целая, и мужчина чувствует, рядом не та, кого нужно тянуть, а та, с кем можно расти. Она не контролирует, не навязывается, не требует пристального внимания. Она занята своей жизнью, но если рядом будет мужчина, способный к партнерству, она раскроется. Фраза «я справлюсь сама» вызывает уважение, потому что за ней свобода выбора. Юнг утверждал, истинная близость возможна только между свободными. Именно поэтому такие индивидуальные женщины кажутся недосягаемыми не из-за холодности, а из-за внутренней силы. Мужчина не чувствует давления, он чувствует желание быть с ней не потому, что ей нужен, а потому, что она вдохновляет. Женщина, говорящая «я справлюсь сама», не играет в сильную. Она просто перестала бояться, она разрешила себе быть устойчивой, независимо от чужих решений. И это вызывает глубочайшее уважение. Не потому, что она все может, а потому, что знает, что справится, даже если не сможет. В этом и есть глубинная женская сила. Тихая, уверенная, спокойная. Та, перед которой мужчина невольно выпрямляется, не чтобы впечатлить, а чтобы соответствовать, потому что рядом с ней иначе нельзя. Фраза 5. «Ты можешь думать, как хочешь». Когда женщина говорит «ты можешь думать, как хочешь», она открывает дверь, за которой живет уважение к себе и к другому. Эта фраза звучит спокойно, даже мягко, но ее эффект глубокий и неожиданный. Она не ставит точку в разговоре, Она расставляет границы не для различий, а для свободы. Карл Юнг учил тому, что одна из высших форм зрелости – это способность поддерживать инаковость. Женщина, произносящая эту фразу, демонстрирует свою надежность. Она больше не зависит от чужого мнения. Ее внутреннее состояние настолько стабильно, что она не нуждается в соглашении, чтобы жить свою правду. Мужчина уникальным образом в этих словах впервые может столкнуться с по-настоящему свободной индивидуальностью. Он идентифицирует не с той, кто борется за правоту, а с той, кто больше не играет в игры. Фраза «ты можешь думать как хочешь» — это отказ от контроля, это зрелое понимание реальности, в котором каждый имеет право на свой взгляд. Юнг написал, что проекция происходит там, где человек не признает границы между «я» и другим. Женщина, говорящая эти слова, возвращает раздел обратно. «Я» — это «я», «ты» — это «ты». Ей не требуется, чтобы мужчина думал, как она. Она не ждет одобрения, не борется за сочувствие. Именно в этом и есть настоящая уверенность, когда ты не боишься быть непонятой. Мужчина вдруг осознает, что перед ним не та, кто нуждается в оправдании, а та, кто свободен от нужды.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. What if I told you that the secret to achieving everything you want isn't just about setting bigger goals or pushing yourself harder? What if the real key to success lies in something far deeper? It's not just about checking off boxes on a to-do list. It's about the person you become in the process. So, before you get lost in the rush of reaching your next goal, consider this. What if the true path to success starts with making time for growth, not just goals? When you focus on growth, the right goals will follow naturally, and the success you achieve will be sustainable and fulfilling. Let's dive into why growth should be your foundation, not just a stepping stone to the next achievement. You don't achieve lasting success by simply working harder at your job. You achieve it by working harder on yourself. If you only make time for goals, burnout is inevitable. But if you make time for genuine, meaningful personal growth, the goals begin to chase you. In this video, I'm going to explain why becoming the right kind of person matters more than any goal you achieve. Why your schedule needs space for development, not just deadlines, and how you can finally escape the trap of staying busy without truly improving. Stick with me, because by the end of this message, you won't just think differently about success, you'll begin living like someone who genuinely earns it. Let's talk about the trap of focusing solely on outcomes. Don't just chase the reward, become the person who's worthy of it. I want to start with something that may resonate. Today, many people are fixated on results. They're chasing the money, the promotions, the recognition, the end achievements. And I get it. I wanted those things too. But here's what I discovered, and I hope you'll hold on to this. You can reach a goal and still feel empty. You can climb to the top and still feel low. You can succeed on the outside and still feel broken on the inside. Why does this happen? Because we've been taught to chase results, but no one taught us how to grow into the kind of person who's truly ready for them. That's what I call the trap of outcome obsession. It may look like success from the outside, but it leaves you feeling hollow inside. Let's explore this. We live in a world that celebrates winners, celebrating finish lines, trophies, gold medals, paychecks, and snapshots at the top of the mountain. And I'm not saying these things are bad. In fact, I believe in setting big goals and striving for achievement. But here's a truth many overlook. It's not the outcome that makes you valuable. It's who you become along the journey to earn that outcome. Because if you skip the personal growth and somehow end up with a reward, you won't keep it for long, or worse, you'll have it, but it won't hold meaning. Think of it this way. The goal is the tool, but the becoming, that's the treasure. Here's something I've seen again and again. People say, once I hit that goal, I'll finally be happy. So they push, grind, and hustle, and one day they reach it. But what happens then? They feel satisfied for a moment, and then they wonder, what's next? Suddenly, they want more. 10,000 isn't enough, they want 20. The new car doesn't satisfy, they need a bigger one. The applause isn't loud enough, now they want a standing ovation. And it never stops when you're fixated on the outcome. Enough is never truly enough. The goalposts keep shifting. You end up trapped by your own success. That's not ambition, that's dependence. And it's the reason people achieve their goals yet still feel lost. Here's the mindset shift I want you to embrace. Don't simply chase the goal. Focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally achieves that goal. Want to be a millionaire? Don't focus solely on the money. Focus on the qualities of the person who earns it. The discipline, the patience, the mindset. That's where your attention should be. Because here's the beauty of it. When you grow into that person, the money becomes a natural outcome. Even if you lose the money, the person you've become, that's yours to keep. That's true wealth. Far too many people measure their lives only by what they've accomplished. But a better question is, who are you becoming in the process? Every day, ask yourself, did I grow? Did I improve? Did I stay true to my values? Because achievements may come and go, but growth stays with you. It shapes who you are. It strengthens your character. You might not see the results today, but if you keep growing, one day you'll look back and realize you became someone you're genuinely proud of. And that's something no one can take away. So how do you break free from the trap? Start with this simple approach. Measure your day not just by what you did, but by who you became. Don't just check off tasks. Check in with your character. Don't just set goals. Set standards for the kind of person you're becoming. Because when you become disciplined, the goals follow. When you become focused, opportunities show up. When you become strong, success endures. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. By becoming the right person, let me challenge you. Every time you set a goal, pause and ask, what kind of person achieves this? What would that version of me be like? How would they think, act, speak, lead, respond? Then start working not just on the goal, but on becoming that version of yourself. Because when you build the person, the goals naturally align. That's the secret many never hear. People chase the prize, but skip the preparation. They rush to the finish line, but ignore the foundation. Don't make that mistake. Make time for growth, not just goals. Goals might open the door, but growth keeps you standing inside. If you've been chasing outcomes, it's time to shift. Chase becoming, chase wisdom, chase strength of character, and the life you're hoping for will begin to chase you. Now let's move into the next part, where we'll explore why who you become matters more than anything you achieve. Who you become matters more than what you achieve. Success isn't something you acquire, it's something you grow into. Let me start with a core principle I learned early on. Don't ask, what am I getting? Ask, what am I becoming? That question changes everything. Most people spend their lives focused on results. They chase the car, the cash, the title, the trophy. And sure, those things are exciting. They shine, they get attention. But I'll tell you this, those things won't sustain you. What will sustain you is the person you become while pursuing them. Here's the truth. If you grow into the right kind of person, you can achieve everything else you want. But if you get what you want without growing into someone strong enough to handle it, you'll lose it, or worse, you'll feel empty when you get it. Let me share a story. Years ago, I met a man who told me, I want to be a millionaire. I replied, that's great, but don't do it just for the money. He looked puzzled. I said again, do it for what it will make of you to achieve it. Because to become a millionaire, you must develop discipline. You must learn time management. You must grow in leadership, courage, wisdom, and patience. You must move beyond excuses and build meaningful habits. That's the real reward, not the $1 million, but the person you become in the process. People often ask, what's the best way to succeed? But that's the wrong first question. The better question is, who do I need to become to reach that level of success? Because success doesn't go to the person who simply wants it, it goes to the person who's prepared for it. If you want a better life, focus on building a better version of yourself. Your life will never rise above the level of the person leading it. You don't get the life you dream about, you get the life you're prepared for. Here's a powerful insight. You don't just work on your goals. You work on your goals feel natural. Think about it. When you become calm under pressure, focused while others are distracted, disciplined while others quit, responsible while others blame, you start attracting success. The goal reflects the inner person. It's not luck, it's character. But here's the danger. If you achieve without growing, you'll undermine your own success. We've all seen it. The athlete who made it big but wasn't mentally ready. The entrepreneur who got rich overnight but lost it all. The person who got the relationship, the promotion, the breakthrough, but couldn't sustain it. Why? Because they focused on achieving but skipped the development. You can fake results for a while, but you can't fake character. And in the end, it's character that carries the weight of achievement. Here's what I've learned. It's not the goal that changes your life. It's the person you must become to achieve it. Want to lead? Become someone others want to follow. Want financial freedom? Become someone who can manage and multiply resources. Want love, respect, trust, purpose? Become loving, respectful, trustworthy, and purposeful. External rewards mirror internal growth. So the real question isn't, what do I want to achieve? It's, who do I want to become? Ask that every day. Let it guide your choices. Let it shape your habits. Let it influence your relationships. Because as you grow, everything around you improves. You'll make better decisions. You'll attract better opportunities. You'll handle setbacks with grace. You'll lead with clarity. You'll live with integrity. And suddenly, success won't feel like a destination. It will feel like a reflection of who you are. Here's what I encourage you to do. Every time you write a goal, don't stop there. Underneath it, write, to achieve this, I must become, and fill in the blank. I must become more focused. I must become more generous. I must become more consistent. I must become more prepared, more intentional, more resilient. That's the real work. The achievement is just a shadow. The person you become, that's the substance. So today, stop chasing what you want. Start becoming what you need. Grow your mindset, grow your skills, grow your standards, grow your courage. Because in the end, it won't be what you achieve that makes you proud. It'll be who you became along the way. And the best part, no one can take that from you. Not the economy, not the critics, not the competition. That's yours for life. Now that we've laid the foundation that who you become is the real reward, let's move forward. In the next section, we'll talk about building a daily routine that prioritizes growth over busyness, depth over distraction, and progress over performance. Because success isn't found in the rush, it's found in the routine. Let's continue. Time management for personal growth. Don't spend major time on minor things. Here's a principle that changed my life. Time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but once a minute passes, it's gone forever. That's why managing your time isn't just about completing tasks, it's about becoming the person you're meant to be. Too many people stay busy without becoming anything. They rush from task to task, meeting to meeting, errand to errand. Their calendars are full, but their souls are empty. And here's the truth. Being busy doesn't mean you're growing. Growth only happens when you manage your time with intention. So what's the first step? You must decide that growth matters more than simply getting things done. Most people wake up and ask, what do I have to do today? But successful people wake up and ask, who do I want to become today? That shift from doing to becoming changes how you use every hour. Let's get practical. If you want to grow, you have to schedule time for it. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't show up while you're scrolling your phone or watching TV. It shows up when you intentionally plan for it, protect it, and treat it like it matters. Because it does. Here's a simple practice. Set appointments with yourself for growth. Yes, real appointments. Like meetings with a boss or client. But this time, the client is you. Block 30 minutes a day to read something that sharpens your mind. Set aside 15 minutes in the morning to journal or write down your goals. Spend 10 minutes before bed reflecting on what you've learned. Turn your commute into a classroom with audiobooks and podcasts. That's how you turn time into transformation. And here's something else. We live in a noisy world. Distractions are everywhere. Emails, notifications, social media, breaking news, endless alerts. If you don't protect your time, someone else will use it for you. So here's a rule I follow. Don't spend major time on minor things. Learn to say no. Say no to time wasters. Say no to endless scrolling. Say no to the things that entertain but don't educate. Safeguard your mornings, safeguard your evenings, turn off what doesn't contribute to your future, because if you're not mindful, the urgent will constantly replace the important. Before long, the day will slip away, along with your progress. Let me remind you of this. Growth doesn't thrive in chaos. Growth happens in routine. It's built in the quiet, consistent moments. It's shaped by repeated practices, intentional breaks, and focused effort. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things consistently. So ask yourself, is your calendar packed with activity or filled with intention? Are you setting aside time to think, to learn, to grow, or are you simply reacting to life rather than designing it? Here's the truth. If you don't design your day will end up shaping you, and that rarely leads anywhere good. Now let's talk about energy. Success isn't just about managing time, it's also about managing energy. You might have 2 hours available, but if you're exhausted, distracted, or frustrated, progress won't happen. Treat your energy like a limited resource. Get enough sleep, nourish your body, move regularly, and give your mind rest. That's not indulgence, it's preparation. And preparation drives performance. A tired mind struggles to grow. A scattered mind struggles to grow. A scattered schedule won't support discipline. Here's something to hold on to. The version of yourself you want to become will only develop if you create space for growth. You won't accidentally grow. You must carve out the time. It needs to be non-negotiable. Look at your calendar right now. Where is your growth time? Where are the moments you've set aside to step away from the noise and focus on development? If it's missing, put it there. Start small, but start today. Every day without growth is a day you can't reclaim. I'll end this chapter with a simple but powerful challenge. Stop scheduling your life only around tasks and to-do lists. Start scheduling it around the person you want to become. Make time to read, make time to reflect, make time to plan. Make time to challenge your thinking. Make time for stillness. Make time to learn from those wiser than you. That's how you start living intentionally. That's how you increase your value. That's how you create a future worth waking up to. Time is your most valuable resource. Use it not just to complete tasks, but to grow into someone you're proud of. Now let's move into the next chapter, where we'll explore one of the greatest obstacles to growth, procrastination, and how to break free from it. Let's continue with the daily disciplines that shape your destiny. Success is simply a few key disciplines practiced daily. Let's talk about a word that has built empires, transformed lives, and shaped greatness. Discipline. Not talent, not luck, not big breakthroughs, discipline. And remember, discipline isn't punishment. It's not about restriction, it's about structure. It's about the freedom that structure makes possible. It's about designing your day so your future becomes inevitable. You see, most people wait for motivation, but those who succeed, they don't depend on feeling inspired. They depend on daily disciplines. Because discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. It keeps you moving when everything around you tells you to stop. It shapes character, and character shapes everything else. Let me be direct. Your life today reflects the disciplines you practiced yesterday, and your future will be built on the disciplines you start practicing today. People often ask, what's the secret to success? I tell them it's not found in big leaps. It's in small, steady steps. Brushing your teeth once won't change your life, but do it daily for 20 years and the results are clear. Reading 10 pages of a great book won't change your life tonight, but read every day for a year and your thinking will shift. That's the compound power of discipline. Now let's talk about a few key disciplines that create meaningful results over time. The first is mastering your mornings. How you begin the day often influences how it ends. Don't start your day in reaction mode. Don't begin by checking your phone, jumping into chaos, or rushing out the door. Instead, create a calm moment, read something that strengthens your mind, write something that focuses your thoughts, move your body, set an intention. You don't need 2 hours. Even 15 minutes can shift your mindset if done intentionally. Next is the discipline of planning. Don't drift through your day, design it. Take 5 minutes in the morning or the night before to write down your top priorities. What matters most? What tasks move you closer to your goals, your growth, your values? Don't mistake activity for progress. Don't stay busy just to be busy. Be strategic, be clear, be focused, because the one who plans with intention lives with direction. Now let's discuss the discipline of learning. You must stay a student of life. Read valuable books. Listen to insightful thinkers. Ask deeper questions. Take notes. Reflect regularly. The mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of wisdom daily, one day you'll wake up surrounded by fruit. But if you neglect it, weeds grow quickly. Confusion, doubt, laziness, distract. Learning isn't optional. If you want to grow, it's necessary. The person who stops learning has already started declining. So make learning a discipline. 15 minutes a day, 10 pages a day. A single idea applied, that's often enough to gain an advantage. Another crucial discipline, follow through. This separates those who talk from those who do. Anyone can set a goal, anyone can make a list, but the discipline to follow through, that's rare. If you said you'd do it, do it. If you made a promise to yourself, keep it. Every time you follow through, your confidence grows. Every time you break your word to yourself, it weakens. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. You don't need to be extraordinary, you just need to be reliable, especially to yourself. Here's something important. Discipline isn't what you do once. Discipline is what you do every day, even when no one's watching. It's the food you choose, the words you speak, the thoughts you believe, the habits you repeat. These small choices shape your future because success doesn't happen suddenly. It happens gradually, then all at once. It's built in hidden moments, in quiet hours, in actions no one else sees, but you do them anyway. Here's the beauty of discipline. The more you practice it, the more it becomes your identity. At first, it feels hard. It takes effort. It feels unnatural. But over time, it becomes part of who you are. You don't just read books. You don't just go for runs. You become someone who values energy. You don't just plan your day. You become someone who lives with intention. That's how discipline transforms you from the inside out. Let me leave you with this. Don't wait for the big moment. Build the right habits, and the big moment will arrive. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, even in a small way, you cast a vote for the future you're building. So start now, start small, and keep going. Read a page, wake up 10 minutes earlier, choose a better meal, say no to a distraction, say yes to your priorities. One day you'll look back and realize your life was shaped by the small disciplines you kept when no one was watching. Daily discipline is destiny in disguise. Now let's move to the next chapter. Building unstoppable momentum to propel your growth forward, one powerful push at a time. When the goal changes, growth remains. The goal can shift, the market can change, the plan can fall apart. But the growth you gain through the process stays with you. The goal may be temporary, but growth is permanent. Life throws curveballs. Business plans crumble, career paths shift, relationships end, the economy flips, and suddenly the target you were chasing doesn't exist. If all you were chasing was the goal, that moment could break you. But if you were focused on growth, you'll bend but never break. The goal may fade, but growth stays with you. Let me share an example. A young man once dreamed of becoming a professional athlete. He trained relentlessly, sacrificed everything, but one injury ended his dream. However, instead of letting that destroy him, he shifted his focus and asked, what did I gain from the journey? The discipline, focus, work ethic, confidence, and resilience he developed became his foundation in a new career where he found even greater success. The real win wasn't the goal. It was the growth that stayed with him. So ask yourself, if what you're chasing disappears tomorrow, would you still be proud of who you became? Would you stand strong in the lessons you learned, the habits you built, and the mindset you sharpened? That's what lasts. Character, not trophies or titles. Growth is the only guarantee in an unpredictable world. Goals are important. They give direction, create urgency, and build purpose. But make your identity bigger than your achievements, because goals can expire, but the person you become through the pursuit lasts forever. Your discipline, wisdom, courage, and patience, those are the assets that you carry into every season of life. Sometimes life shifts the goal, not to punish you, but to prepare you, to show you that the real reward wasn't the outcome, but the becoming. Growth is never wasted. Even when the plan didn't work, the number wasn't hit, or you didn't cross the finish line. If you grew, you won. Growth compounds and follows you forward. Perhaps your business didn't succeed, but you learned how to communicate, lead, budget, and sell, skills that make you 10 times more valuable in your next venture. Work harder on yourself than on your job, because even if the job disappears, you remain the asset. When the goal changes, reflect, reset, and refocus on growth. Ask, what did I gain in this season? What did I learn? And take those lessons forward. Cling to your growth, your discipline, your values. Those are your foundation, not the goal. Goals aren't promises. They're pursuits meant to guide, stretch, and sometimes redirect you. But growth is a promise. If you stay consistent, humble, and committed, growth will always show up. And that means you're never starting from zero. You're starting from strength, experience, and wisdom. Build yourself first, because when the goal changes, the growth stays. And that's what carries you to the next level of life. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. You don't need to hustle endlessly or outperform everyone. What matters most is who are you becoming while you take that action. Success is attracted to discipline, character, integrity, consistency, courage, and focus. The stronger those qualities in you, the more success will come. You don't need to chase opportunity, you become someone who draws it. When you grow in skill, insight, clarity, presence, humility, and consistency, success becomes inevitable. Instead of asking, how can I get more? Ask, how can I grow more? Because the more you grow, the more success will follow you. When you stop chasing and start attracting, you send a different signal to the world. One that says, I'm ready, I'm confident, I'm valuable. This changes everything. People want to work with those who are grounded, trustworthy, and growing. So work on becoming that person. Success will follow. Be consistent. Show up every day. Stay humble. Stay teachable. Never stop growing. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. So let's focus on 4 principles to attract success. First, be valuable. Don't just take, give, solve problems, offer energy, insight, and encouragement. Become known for making things better. Second, be consistent. Anyone can show up once, but very few show up every day. Consistency builds trust with others and with yourself. Third, be teachable. Stay open and humble, never think you've arrived. And lastly, be clear on your identity. Don't pretend or perform. Be genuine, strong, and intentional. The more aligned you are internally, the more powerful your external presence becomes. The key principle to remember, success is not something to chase externally. Success is something you become internally when you align your thoughts, habits, character, and mission. Success doesn't run from you, it runs to you, not overnight, but always on time. So instead of asking, how do I get more? Ask, how do I become more? Once you grow into the right kind of person, you'll never have to chase success again. It will recognize you and say, there you are. Now, let's talk about the price of growth. Growth requires sacrifice, but the sacrifices you make today are always less than the regrets you avoid tomorrow. Everything of value requires sacrifice. Want a stronger body? Sacrifice comfort. Want a stronger mind? Sacrifice time. Want financial freedom? Sacrifice short-term pleasure. Want personal growth? Sacrifice your excuses. There is no shortcut. Every step forward demands leaving something behind. This is great news because it means you have a choice. You get to decide what you'll trade, and if you trade wisely, the return is worth far more than what you gave up. Sacrifice doesn't mean suffering. It means investment. It means prioritizing growth over comfort. Comfort is easy to get into, but hard to get out of. While growth is difficult to begin with, but once you're in, it opens doors to a life you never thought possible. What are you willing to give up? Real change requires letting go of what no longer serves you. You can't have transformation while holding on to old habits, limiting beliefs, distractions, and toxic relationships. These things were made for who you were, not for who you're becoming. Yes, growth requires sacrifice, but that sacrifice is the price for stepping into a better version of yourself, and you are worth that price. You're always sacrificing for something. The question is, are you sacrificing comfort for growth, or are you sacrificing growth for comfort? Every choice you make today will determine the life you live tomorrow, so choose wisely. Sacrifice doesn't feel good right away, but it feels right in the long run. The alarm clock goes off early, but no one celebrates that. You walk away from distractions, but no one cheers for that either. That's okay. You don't need applause or validation. You need direction, and growth will give it to you if you're willing to pay the price. Whatever you give up to grow, you'll get back multiplied. Better health, stronger relationships, clearer vision, and more confidence. It's always worth it. Growth will cost you something, but not growing will cost you everything. Comfort feels good now, but growth feels good later and for a lot longer. Don't be afraid to let go of something small to reach for something greater. Step into your next chapter with intention, because sacrifice is the soil where transformation takes root. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in the right environment, especially with the right people. Those who challenge you, push you, and help you grow. If you spend enough time around small thinking, you'll start shrinking. If you hang around people who make excuses, soon you'll be making them too. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, who talk solutions, and value growth, integrity, and discipline, your standards will automatically rise. Growth is contagious. You don't have to cut people off for no reason, but you have to protect your potential. Your time is limited and your energy is valuable. Ask yourself, are the people around me building me up or breaking me down? Do they challenge me or comfort me in my stagnation? Your direction is influenced by your connections, so if you want to go higher, you must walk with people who aren't afraid of heights. They'll push you to be better, not just feel better. They'll celebrate your wins, not compete with them. You need 3 kinds of people in your life. First, someone ahead of you, a mentor, coach, or leader who shows you what's possible. Second, someone beside you, a peer, a fellow warrior, someone you push and check each other with. Third, someone behind you, a student or mentee you can guide. Teaching reinforces what you've learned and reminds you how far you've come. Growth happens when you're learning, collaborating, and leading all 3. So ask yourself, if I keep walking with the people I'm walking with now, where will I end up in 5 years? Do they inspire me? Do they stretch me? Do they hold me accountable? Or do they pull me down into their comfort zone? Your future depends on the answer to that question. The stronger your vision becomes, the smaller your circle might get. That's not a problem, that's a filter. Growth is a sorting process. Not everyone can come with you, and that's okay. Your job isn't to drag people into your next chapter. Your job is to keep moving forward, and those who are meant to walk with you will catch up. The most important thing you can do is to make growth your identity. When growth becomes who you are, it's no longer something you have to chase, it's the foundation of everything you do. Growth is not a single event, it's a continuous journey that shapes who you become and how you show up in the world. When you embrace this mindset, you'll understand that setbacks aren't roadblocks, they're lessons. Failures aren't permanent, they're steps forward. Challenges aren't reasons to quit, they're opportunities to expand. So, here's the final principle I want you to remember. Growth is not a destination, it's a lifestyle. You don't wait for the perfect moment to start. You don't wait for everything to be aligned. You start now, and you grow in the process. You commit to it every day, and as you do, you'll build the kind of life that reflects your highest potential. Now, with that in mind, remember, every step forward is worth celebrating. Each moment of progress, no matter how small, is the victory. Keep walking, keep growing, and trust that everything you're building today will shape the tomorrow you've always dreamed of. Your life transforms permanently when you stop growing just for a reason and begin growing as a way of life. Growth isn't just about earning a promotion, it's about setting excellence as your standard. You don't grow simply to solve a problem, you grow because wisdom guides you. You don't grow to impress others, you grow because purpose fuels you, which is far from how we were conditioned to not feel great. You don't grow simply to solve a problem, you grow because purpose fuels you. It becomes automatic, expected, and non-negotiable. This isn't about ego, it's about evolution. Let me emphasize this. Work harder on yourself than on your job. Your job may change, your company may change, the world may change, but you take yourself into every season. If you're prepared and growing, you'll thrive anywhere. This is the kind of person who doesn't just survive success, but sustains it, multiplies it, and shares it. So here's the takeaway. Don't treat growth as a phase, make it your foundation. Let it guide your thoughts, shape your schedule, influence your relationships, and define how you lead, love, and live. You'll never regret becoming better. You'll never look back and wish you hadn't grown. You'll never outgrow your need for wisdom, strength, and truth. The more you grow, the more you'll attract everything that aligns with who you truly are, not because you chased it, but because you became ready for it. And when you look for ever-focused settings, you will see and implement more forward. So keep reading the books, asking the questions, building the habits, having the hard conversations, and showing up. Don't grow for a season, grow for a lifetime. Because when growth becomes a lifestyle, there's no limit to what you can build. This is just the beginning. Now go live it, grow first, and the goals will follow. If you want more, you have to become more. Success isn't something to chase. It's something you attract by becoming the person capable of achieving it. Let's bring everything together. In the last few chapters, we've discussed goals, habits, growth, sacrifice, momentum, and mindset. We've uncovered principles that can transform your life permanently. But it all boils down to this one truth. You don't get the life you want by chasing goals. You get the life you want by growing into the person who can live it. That's the real message. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. While the world tells you to set bigger goals, move faster, and push harder, I'll offer a different perspective. Start by growing. Begin with building your character, developing your discipline, raising your standards, upgrading your environment, investing in your mind, and protecting your time. Once you grow, everything else falls into place. Let's be honest, goals are important. They give direction, stretch your vision, and add urgency to your days. But goals without growth, they lead to frustration, burnout, short-term wins, and long-term emptiness. And that's why I say don't just chase the goal, pursue the growth. When you grow, you attract the goal. You become the person who can handle it, and you build a lasting version of success. Here's what I know about you, because you've made it this far. You're not looking for surface-level success. You're not after hacks, hype, or shortcuts. You're building something deeper, something solid, something that lasts. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't just succeed from time to time, but lives successfully from the inside out. And that means you've already won. It's deciding to grow consistently, intentionally, every single day. That decision changes everything. So what now? Keep going. Keep building your disciplines, refining your thinking, surrounding yourself with the right people. Keep choosing progress over perfection, honoring the process, even when it's slow, even when it's quiet, even when no one's watching, because that's where transformation happens. That's where your future is formed. And always remember, success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want more, become more. If you want a better life, build a better you. If you want your goals to chase you, grow into someone who attracts them. Growth first, and the goals will follow. That's the path, the promise, and the kind of life worth living. Growth isn't just a means to an end. It's the foundation for everything you want to achieve. When you focus solely on reaching goals, you may find yourself burning out or falling short. But when you make growth your priority, the goals become a natural byproduct of who you've become. So before you dive into the pursuit of your next goal, ask yourself, are you growing in the right ways? Are you building the habits, mindset, and discipline that will set you up for lasting success? Truth is what enables you to sustain your achievements, multiply your impact, and attract opportunities you might never have anticipated. If you're ready to take your life to the next level, don't just chase goals, make time for growth. Because the person you become along the way will not only achieve your goals, but will also redefine what's possible for your future. Stop. Right now, stop chasing success. Because the more you chase it, the more it runs. The more you try to force it, the more it slips through your fingers. Success is not hiding from you. It's not avoiding you. It's not reserved for the chosen few. Success is attracted, not chased. So let me ask you something powerful. Are you ready to stop running after success and start becoming the kind of person success is pulled toward? Because in this moment, we're going to flip the entire game. Not with tricks, not with hacks, not with empty motivation, but with deep, unshakable alignment. You're not here to hustle yourself into exhaustion. You're here to rise, to embody, to command, to become the kind of force that doesn't ask for success, but attracts it by who you are. And here's where it begins. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This is Tony Robbins' track, and we're about to ignite the version of you that the world can't ignore. 1. You attract what you are, not what you want. We live in a world obsessed with goals. People write them down, visualize them, recite affirmations about them, and chase them day and night. But here's the truth most never grasp. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Think about that for a second. How many people want wealth, love, health, success, and yet they never get it? Not because they aren't working hard, but because they haven't become the kind of person who is aligned with those outcomes. Desire alone is powerless. Wanting something doesn't make it yours. If it did, everyone would have everything they want. But the world doesn't respond to want, it responds to belief, embodiment, energy, and identity. It responds to congruence. If deep down you see yourself as average, broke, unworthy, or invisible, that identity will sabotage everything you try to build on top of it. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. If there's chaos out there, look in here. If there's lack out there, check your inner story. Your reality isn't created by your goals, it's created by your patterns. And your patterns are built on who you believe yourself to be. That's why people who suddenly win the lottery often lose it all. Their identity wasn't aligned with abundance, it was aligned with scarcity. So the money came, but they couldn't hold it. It's inside out, not outside in. This is why environment alone doesn't change lives. You can move to a new city, join a new job, enter a new relationship, but if you bring the same low standards, same limiting beliefs, and same reactive energy with you, nothing changes. Wherever you go, there you are. So how do you shift? You audit your identity. You get radically honest about the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you dwell in, the energy you bring into rooms, and the standards you tolerate. And then you raise it all. You act like the version of you who already has what you want. You wake up and ask, how would my highest self think, move, speak, eat, choose? And you do that. Not once, but consistently. Not perfectly, but intentionally. That's how alignment is built. It's inside out, not outside in. This is why environment alone doesn't change lives. You can move to a new city, join a new job, enter a new relationship, but if you bring the same low standards, same limiting beliefs, and same reactive energy with you, nothing changes. Wherever you go, there you are. So how do you shift? You audit your identity. You get radically honest about the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you dwell in, the energy you bring into rooms, and the standards you tolerate. And then you raise it all. You act like the version of you who already has what you want. You wake up and ask, how would my highest self think, move, speak, eat, choose? And you do that. Not once, but consistently. Not perfectly, but intentionally. That's how alignment is built. You reinforce separation, you affirm lack, but when you become the kind of person who naturally creates success, you don't have to chase it, you command it. You walk into rooms differently, you speak differently. People feel your energy before you say a word, because success isn't something you beg for, it's something you attract by who you are. Commanding success isn't about arrogance, it's about showing up as the version of you who expects results because you've done the inner work to deserve them. You don't walk around hoping things will happen. You create momentum. You make decisions quickly. You speak with power. You take actions aligned with your vision. Most people are addicted to motion, but allergic to direction. They're busy, but they're not effective. You reinforce separation, you affirm lack, but when you become the kind of person who naturally creates success, you don't have to chase it, you command it. You walk into rooms differently, you speak differently. People feel your energy before you say a word, because success isn't something you beg for, it's something you attract by who you are. Commanding success isn't about arrogance, it's about showing up as the version of you who expects results because you've done the inner work to deserve them. You don't walk around hoping things will happen. You create momentum. You make decisions quickly. You speak with power. You take actions aligned with your vision. Most people are addicted to motion, but allergic to direction. They're busy, but they're not effective. You're done diluting your power. You're done shrinking to make others comfortable. You're done asking for permission. You start living like it's already yours. You build the body of someone who's successful. You speak with the confidence of someone who's already achieved. You treat people, time, and opportunity with the respect that someone operating at the highest level does. And here's the key. You do it before you see results. That's what separates the few who rise from the many who plateau. Commanding success isn't a trick, it's a transformation. And it starts with a decision to stop chasing and start embodying. 3, raise your standards. Your life will follow. Your life is a mirror of the standards you've set, whether consciously or unconsciously. Not your dreams, not your potential, not even your intentions. Your reality right now reflects what you've consistently allowed, tolerated, and expected from yourself and the world around you. If you're not satisfied with what you're experiencing, your income, your health, your relationships, your growth, it's not because life is unfair. It's because your standards are not aligned with the outcomes you say you want. Standards are the silent architects of your destiny. They dictate the quality of your choices, the boundaries you enforce, the habits you commit to, and the people you surround yourself with. Most people confuse standards with goals, but there's a difference. Goals are something you reach for. Standards are the floor, the baseline of what you absolutely demand. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. That's why you can set high goals, but still live a life of mediocrity. Because your standards haven't been upgraded to match the vision. Until you raise the level of what you're no longer willing to tolerate, nothing shifts. Standards are not set in words, they're set in behavior. What you do daily is a reflection of what you've accepted as normal. If you tolerate poor communication in your relationship, that becomes the standard. If you repeatedly skip your morning routine or neglect your health, that's not just a bad habit. It's a reflection of what you've decided is acceptable. The real transformation begins the moment you say, "This stops now. This is no longer who I am. This is no longer what I accept." Raising your standards is not about being perfect. It's about making excellence your new default. It's not about always feeling motivated. If you motivated by is about choosing the higher path, especially when it's hard. The moment you raise your standards, life has to adjust. The people in your world feel the shift. Some will rise with you, others will fall away. That's natural, because the stronger your boundaries become, the clearer the message. I am no longer available for anything that compromises my vision. People often say, but what if I fail? What if I raise my standards and still don't get the result? That's the wrong question. The real danger isn't in aiming too high and missing. It's in aiming too low and hitting. Low standards cost more than failure. They cost your identity, your confidence, your power. Every time you tolerate less than you're capable of, you reinforce a version of yourself that is smaller than who you were meant to be. When you raise your standards, you start walking differently, talking differently, choosing differently. Not because of ego, but because of alignment. You realize you're not here to survive. You're here to lead, to grow, to expand. And you can't do that by settling for relationships that drain you, work that numbs you, or habits that shrink you. You don't need more motivation. You need a stronger standard. One that says, this is who I am now. From that place, everything begins to shift. Your decisions become faster, your actions more deliberate, your energy more focused. You start showing up for your goals like they're already yours, because now your identity matches the outcome you desire. And when identity and standard lock in, momentum becomes automatic. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if your standards are low, you'll underperform. You can have all the passion and talent, but if you tolerate inconsistency, you'll sabotage your own progress. Your standards are your internal operating system. Upgrade that system and your performance, confidence, and results all rise in sync. This is why personal growth isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. And becoming more requires new rules, new boundaries, new decisions. It requires you to say no more often, not out of fear, but out of purpose. It requires you to hold yourself accountable at a higher level, not because you're broken, but because you've remembered who you are for. Identity drives behavior. Upgrade who you believe you are. Every decision you make, every risk you avoid, every goal you pursue or abandon, it all comes back to identity. Not who you say you are, but who you believe you are when no one's watching. You will never outperform your identity. You will never act consistently in a way that contradicts your core belief about yourself. That's why the most important work is not in behavior change, it's in identity change. You can change your environment, your job, your partner, your strategy, but if you bring the same self-concept into a new situation, the results won't last. If you see yourself as average, you'll create average. If you see yourself as someone who always struggles, you'll sabotage every breakthrough. If you identify as someone who isn't enough, you'll constantly seek validation. Identity is the lens through which you interpret reality. It determines what you believe is possible, what you expect from others, what you feel worthy of, and what actions you're willing to take. People try to change their lives by setting goals, but goals without identity shift are like planting seeds in dry soil. You can hustle, push, grind, but eventually your subconscious pulls you back to what feels familiar. Because your mind isn't wired for success, it's wired for consistency. And it will fight anything that threatens the identity it's been conditioned to believe. That's why breakthroughs require internal disruption. You don't just add new habits, you let go of old stories. You don't just build confidence, you release the identity that says you're not good enough. You don't just speak differently, you start believing deep down that your voice matters. When you shift your identity, everything else becomes easier. Your actions become natural. Your habits become sustainable. Your vision becomes believable because it finally matches who you see yourself as. But here's the catch. Identity change doesn't come from hoping. It comes from deciding. You decide who you are now. Not based on your past, not based on your failures, not based on your current results. You base it on your vision. You align with a version of you that already exists at your highest level. The one who is focused, disciplined, powerful, generous, unstoppable. That version isn't a fantasy. It's a frequency. And the more you act from it, the more your brain rewires to accept it as truth. This is why repetition matters. You don't become someone new in a single moment. You embody that version of yourself through daily action, thought, and emotion. You reinforce the new identity by speaking from it, acting from it, choosing from it, not perfectly, but consistently. And with every repetition, the old identity fades. The self-doubt loses power. The old patterns dissolve. Because now you're building new neural pathways that say, this is who I am now. That identity becomes your internal compass. It becomes the filter through which you make decisions. You no longer ask, what should I do? You ask, what would this version of me do? Set reduce, and the answer becomes clear. You take the call, you make the move, you show up with energy, you walk away from distractions, you say no to what drains you, not because of willpower, but because that behavior no longer fits the identity you've claimed. Most people try to act their way into a new identity, but it works in reverse. You claim the new identity first and then act from it until it becomes real. Your results don't change your identity changes your results. You don't wait to see it, you live it, breathe it, and become it. When your identity is aligned with your vision, everything accelerates. You stop chasing motivation because purpose becomes your engine. You stop needing validation because self-trust becomes your foundation. You stop asking for permission because your presence says, I belong here. Identity is not fixed, it's not permanent, it's a choice, a practice, a declaration. And when you upgrade who you believe you are, the world responds in ways that feel effortless, magnetic, and undeniable. 5. Energy is currency. Show up with certainty. In every room you walk into, every conversation you enter, every opportunity that presents itself, you're either adding energy or draining it. You claim the new identity first and then act from it until it becomes real. Your results don't change your identity changes your results. You don't wait to see it, you live it, breathe it, and become it. When your identity is aligned with your vision, everything accelerates. You stop chasing motivation because purpose becomes your engine. You stop needing validation because self-trust becomes your foundation. You stop asking for permission because your presence says, I belong here. Identity is not fixed, it's not permanent, it's a choice, a practice, a declaration. And when you upgrade who you believe you are, the world responds in ways that feel effortless, magnetic, and undeniable. 5. Energy is currency. Show up with certainty. In every room you walk into, every conversation you enter, every opportunity that presents itself, you're either adding energy or draining it. And energy fuels it. Think about the most successful people you've seen. They don't necessarily have the highest IQ or the best resume. What they do have is presence. They show up with focus, intensity, clarity, and decisiveness. That's energy. That's what people respond to. Because people don't follow titles, they follow certainty. And the person with the most certainty always leads the room. Energy doesn't lie. You can fake a smile, you can say the right words, but people will still feel your frequency. If your inner world is filled with hesitation, fear, or self-doubt, it shows. And no matter how much strategy you apply, that shaky energy repels what you're trying to attract. On the other hand, when your internal energy is aligned, when your mind, body, and emotions are congruent, your very presence becomes a statement. You walk into a meeting, an interview, a pitch, or a performance, and people feel the weight of your alignment. That's not charisma, that's coherence. Energy management isn't optional. It's foundational. How you breathe, how you move, how you speak. These are all levers that shape your energy. You can wake up tired, stressed, overwhelmed, but if you shift your physiology, you change your state. Motion changes emotion. Breath controls focus. Posture influences confidence. You can't wait to feel motivated. You create the energy that fuels motivation. When you operate from high energy, your perception sharpens. Your ideas are clearer. You access intuition. You speak with passion. You make better decisions. And you become resilient, not because you avoid problems, but because your state stays strong when they arise. That's power. That's what makes someone unstoppable. If your energy is low, it doesn't matter how great your strategy is, you won't execute. You'll hesitate. You'll retreat. You'll find reasons to pause. But when your energy is high, your standards rise with it. You start asking bigger questions. You stop tolerating what no longer serves you. You stop apologizing for your vision. That's what happens when you show up with certainty. Your energy starts to reshape your entire environment. It also affects the people around you. When you show up with elevated energy, you lift others. You create momentum in teams. You breathe life into ideas. And the people in your world start stepping up, not because you told them to, but because your example becomes contagious. High energy leadership isn't about yelling louder. That's what makes someone unstoppable. If your energy is low, it doesn't matter how great your strategy is, you won't execute. You'll hesitate. You'll retreat. You'll find reasons to pause. But when your energy is high, your standards rise with it. You start asking bigger questions. You stop tolerating what no longer serves you. You stop apologizing for your vision. That's what happens when you show up with certainty. Your energy starts to reshape your entire environment. It also affects the people around you. When you show up with elevated energy, you lift others. You create momentum in teams. You breathe life into ideas. And the people in your world start stepping up, not because you told them to, but because your example becomes contagious. High energy leadership isn't about yelling louder. Most people never tap into their full power because they're living with one foot in and one foot out. They're trying to build a dream while holding on to the comfort of a safety net. And that split energy kills momentum. It creates hesitation, distraction, and confusion. If there's always a fallback, there's never full commitment. You want to become unstoppable? Burn the backup plan. Decide that you're all in, not just when it's convenient, not just when it's exciting, but when it's hard, messy, and uncertain. That kind of commitment sends a signal, not just to your brain, but to life itself. When you commit fully, the universe begins to respond differently. Resources show up, people appear, opportunities align, not because they weren't there before, but because you finally became the version of yourself who could see and receive them. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from commitment. The moment you go all in, your brain stops negotiating and starts executing. You stop wondering, what if this doesn't work? And start asking, what do I need to do to make this inevitable? That shift in focus is everything. It moves you out of survival mode and into creation mode. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your reality. Most people overthink because they haven't committed. They're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect feeling. But that's an illusion. Waiting is the enemy of clarity. You don't need more time, you need more decision. And once you decide, truly decide, the fog begins to lift. Because commitment cuts through noise. It ends the inner debate. It eliminates the options that don't serve you. It creates focus, and focus is power. The backup plan is a form of self-doubt. It says, I don't fully believe in this, so let me keep one foot in the familiar. And every time you reach back for comfort, you rob yourself of transformation. You can't soar while holding on to the ground. You can't lead while second-guessing your direction. The people who create extraordinary lives aren't the ones with the most talent. They're the ones who decide and commit no matter what. Burning the backup plan doesn't mean being reckless. It means being committed. It means saying, this is my path. I may not know every step, but I will not quit. I will not retreat. I will grow into the person who makes this real. That's the mindset that builds legacies. That's the energy that moves mountains. It creates focus, and focus is power. The backup plan is a form of self-doubt. It says, I don't fully believe in this, so let me keep one foot in the familiar. And every time you reach back for comfort, you rob yourself of transformation. You can't soar while holding on to the ground. You can't lead while second-guessing your direction. The people who create extraordinary lives aren't the ones with the most talent. They're the ones who decide and commit no matter what. Burning the backup plan doesn't mean being reckless. It means being committed. It means saying, this is my path. I may not know every step, but I will not quit. I will not retreat. I will grow into the person who makes this real. That's the mindset that builds legacies. That's the energy that moves mountains. That's where transformation lives. Not in indecision, not in the illusion of someday, but in the fire of total commitment. When you cross the threshold and say, I'm not turning back, you activate a version of yourself that is bolder, more focused, more resilient. You start solving problems you once avoided. You start taking actions that scare you, not because you feel fearless, but because your purpose is bigger than your fear. And in that space, growth becomes non-negotiable. 7. Command your state daily. Motion creates emotion. Your emotional state controls how you think, act, and respond, and it's something you can take command of at will. Too many people wait for the right mood or conditions before they take action, but that's backwards. You don't wait to feel good to move, you move to feel good. The fastest way to shift your state is through motion. Change your breath, change your posture, change your focus. Stand tall, breathe deep, move with purpose. Your physiology shifts your psychology. You train your nervous system to associate movement with power. Every day, you must prime your body and mind for greatness. Don't let your state be accidental. Make it intentional. Create rituals that elevate your energy. Your ability to show up with focus, drive, and certainty doesn't come from chance, it comes from conditioning. Own your mornings, master your physiology, and step into each day with momentum. 8. Operate from purpose, not pressure. Pressure shrinks vision, but pressure expands it. When you operate from pressure, you're reactive, constantly chasing deadlines, validation, or survival. But when you tap into purpose, everything changes. You move from stress to service. You stop asking, what do I need to get done, and start asking, what impact am I here to make? Purpose gives fuel to your effort. It turns task into missions and struggle into meaning. Pressure is external, but purpose is internal. It's the fire you create, not the weight you carry. And when you act from purpose, your energy becomes magnetic. People feel the difference when you're driven by something real. You're no longer grinding to prove, you're showing up to contribute. Purpose brings clarity. It simplifies your decisions. It creates emotional resilience. You become anchored in something bigger than outcomes. And that steadiness changes how you lead, speak, build, and live. 9. Be the future you. Now. Stop waiting for success to transform you and start acting from the identity of the person who already has it. If the future version of you, the one who's healthy, wealthy, focused, and fulfilled, isn't separate from you. That version is a set of decisions, habits, and standards you can activate now. Ask yourself daily, how would the future me speak, move, respond, choose, and live that way? Don't wait for the conditions to change. Shift who you're being in the moment. The sooner you align your behavior with your future identity, the faster results catch up. Most people delay their potential waiting to feel ready. But readiness is a myth. You don't step into success, you become it first, and then everything else follows. Embody the energy, mindset, and actions of the future you today. That's how alignment happens. That's how momentum begins. 10. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. Chasing is rooted in lack. It's fueled by the belief that what you want is out there, far away, separate from you. But attraction comes from alignment. When your mindset, energy, and actions are congruent with what you desire, you become a magnet. You don't beg, you become. You shift from force to flow, from hustle to presence. Success doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to embodiment. The more whole, focused, and intentional you are, you don't need to manipulate or impress, you need to resonate. Elevate your thoughts, hold your standards, move like it's already yours. That frequency pulls the right people, ideas, and opportunities to you. You stop running after outcomes and start receiving them by being a match for them internally first. So let's lock this in. You want to attract success? Stop running after it and start living from it. You become magnetic the moment you raise your standards. You shift your life when you shift your identity. You don't wait for energy, you generate it. You don't fall back on backup plans, you burn the boats. You don't let your state control you, you command it daily. And you don't move from fear or pressure, you move from purpose. Because when you decide to be the future version of you now, success doesn't need to be chased. It starts orbiting around you. It starts following your frequency. The real game changer? When you stop chasing, you start attracting. And when you start attracting from that place of power, purpose, and identity, nothing can stop the life that starts showing up. This isn't motivation, this is transformation. And this is what we live for here on Tony Robbins' track. You already have what it takes. Now become who it requires. Don't wait. Don't wish. Decide. Commit. Become. Subscribe now to Tony Robbins' track and share this with someone who's done chasing and ready to start becoming. Let's go.